uh, the the main scenes between Megan and Danny are basically her calling him
Hmm.
and using him as a distraction, essentially. Although there is the undercurrent of perhaps her thinking she made a mistake in her life, as you just stated. Um, but then it's revealed towards the end, and this is the emotional gut punch, um, that she has been using him as a distraction in some ways, or in the main, and it comes out in a pretty devastating way when she after before that great moment that I discussed earlier. She talks about how she misses Michael and that she doesn't feel like she'll ever be able to replace him. And Danny tries to comfort her, but it's just the type of thing that they have to grow to outgrow.
Yeah.
What do you think of? You said that Danny is clearly different from most of the characters he is. How do you, and then I guess you can use Danny as an example too. How do you deal with grief that you feel is different from most of the people you've encountered? I feel that a lot wallow in it and use it as an excuse to get away from life, um, but and don't learn to just compartmentalize their grief.
uh, yeah. I mean, I just um, my dad used to have the saying, "This too shall pass." Not a particularly deep saying, but it's true. Uh, when my cats have died, you go on, and then 6 months later, maybe you'll pick up a kitten or whatnot. We even had one time when our cat Shadow died, and when he died at the vet asked us to take in this kitten, Zeus now, and we took him home the same day. So we had death and life and rebirth in that one moment, and you just have to keep going. And uh, the thing with these plays, whether it's Deep Nardo and his ups and downs, whether it's the demise of Mitch Murphy, and no one really laments him, or Emmy Clemenza when she died in the earlier play. No one went to it. Not even her husband went to the funeral. Um, uh, these kinds of things, they are these moments that are real. And one of the things that, as a writer, that I find, whether it's in novels or whatnot, is the utter lack of realism and emotional or intellectual realism, in that it's almost as if most writers, even the best writers, want to write to get away from things. I want to write to document things. As I've said many times, and I'll say it again, I want, and I said in this interview last week with the Indian fellow, I want sentient beings in 10,000 years to know that they may have had some connection with me, who had some connection with you, or with in the real life Emmy Clemenza, as wacky as she was.
Sort of 6 degrees of separation thing.
Not necessarily 6 degrees of separation in terms of no, but that there is a commonality, and I would think that even if, for example, like in my sci-fi novel where I had the dogfish character, that that in that, remember, in that book, there's an antagonistic relationship with the humans that are coming out into its territory, but the humans are as much, if not more, to blame than the dogfish. It's just basically trying to live its life, and these humans, want to get to this planet to exploit it. And so, uh, you know, there could have been a better relationship, and there can be better relationships if you take time to understand it. And all of the art that I do, these plays try to understand. We want to understand Megan. We want to understand Deke. We want to understand Danny. Or we want to understand, to a certain degree, someone like Mitch, or the girl who takes off her clothes, Paula Matthews, in the earlier play. We want to know. We want to. Like I've said many times, Moby Dick isn't about a whale and a crazy man. That's just the into something deeper.
So before I talk about a work in progress that you have coming up, I think you said you're going to do the Drake equation
Uh-huh.
next. Um, I wanted to talk to you about this two parts of the play. The first is with Bridget and the flirting between them, and then Danny will still sort of have these deeper moments where he's talking about an idea. He hasn't become a great poet yet, but he has some great ideas, or some interesting ideas at least, and she sort of becomes wedded by it. But you get the sense with her that she may have something a little deeper, not necessarily even as deep as Megan, but I find those interactions very interesting. How you can bring in these ideas like eternal recurrence and debunk them, while at the same time not having the focus shift towards that idea in the main.
Well, that's part of who I am, and the Danny Wagner character is probably 95 to 98% of me, even more so than Manny Cole or any of the other doppelgangers that I have. And the sexy Sully character, I don't know if she had any real depth. I mean, she was, she was in real life sort of an empty vessel, a lovely empty vessel for a young heterosexual boy like me. She might not have done it for you, but she did it for me. And the real ending, where the final scene where Danny's cleaning the parking lot and she's waiting for the bus, and she gets on the bus and says, I'll see you soon or whatnot. Well, 34 years later, I've only seen her photo once on Facebook, and I don't think she has a Facebook account anymore because it's not up there. And so who knows if she's still alive or whatnot.
She sort of comes off too as if getting in a casual relationship with Danny is permanent.
Yeah.
So she can't even take the chance on him, whether it's because she doesn't like his looks or not, we don't know. But I find that part of her characterization pretty interesting as well. The Megan and Michael relationship, it's interesting too that you would expect Michael to appear on the stage like some of your other plays have, but you don't get that in any of the scenes where Michael doesn't make any cameo appearance.
Because this isn't about Michael and Megan; it's about Danny and Megan.
Yes, well that's a good point.